English is the number one thing.
Yeah.
We really need people to be able to have a good understanding of English language.
Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Physio podcast series season 2, which is going to be more raw and more casual this time. So today the guest that I have is Lauren Osborne. She is an owner of Club Physiotherapy and Pilates in Australia. She is a footballer. She is a mom. She is a full-time working lady, and she is level 1 Australian strength and conditioning coach as well. So we have so much to talk to her. And one important thing is, if you are looking forward to a content and you are looking forward to the information that what the international employer looks into an international candidate while hiring, and you are interested in that, then this episode is for you. You're not going to miss that, because this is going to be so much informative and so much professional in a way that this will definitely benefit you, and I assure you that. So this episode is for you. Hi Lauren, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good too. First of all, thank you so much for coming into my podcast and honoring my platform with your presence.
No worries.
Okay, so my audience wants to know about you. I have already given your introduction. So starting with the start, how you thought to become a physiotherapist?
I think just like being a young athlete myself, having to
Yeah.
go through physio and experiencing that, I was like, I could probably do this. And I didn't really know there was more to physio than
Yeah.
just musculoskeletal.
So first you became an athlete,
Yep.
a footballer, and
Yep.
then you came into physio.
Yep.
So how long is this journey for?
To become a physio.
From starting, like it's been how long?
I think I knew like when I was in high school that I wanted to be a physio. So
Uh-huh.
I did my work experience when I was in year 10, so I was
Yeah.
15. I was like, yep, cool. And then I just worked really hard to get into physio. I didn't get in straight off my ATAR scores, which were our uni entrance through school. I didn't get in through that. I had to do a year of health science at uni and then apply to be in physio and switched over.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's really different here. Like Australia has a culture of sports and all such stuff. So you were already into it and you already knew what you want to be. Unlike us, we never knew what we want to be. So what came into your mind that you want to be a footballer? Like for us, like in Pakistanis and India, like women don't usually go into football and stuff. So what came into your mind, how it started, and how you became so professional and winner in this?
Yeah, look, when I started out, it wasn't for girls either.
Uh-huh.
So I think I was about 6, and there was some boys at school, and they were saying, "Oh, we're going to start a Oz Kick, which is the junior one, right?
Okay.
So like from 6 years old."
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to play." And they said, "Oh no, you can't. It's only for girls." No. And then I was a bit upset, so I went home and I said to my mum, "Oh, the boys are doing footy, and they said I can't." And she's like, "Well, you can if you want." And so then I went down to the junior club and started playing footy with the boys. And the first few years, I got teased a little bit because it's not for girls to do. But then they realised I was actually pretty good, so it was worth having me on their team. So then they like stuck up for me a little bit more.
Wow.
And then I played with the boys until I was 14, and then they said, "No, you
can.
The men and women are developing differently now. You probably shouldn't be playing with these boys." And then I was a bit sad, but then I found the women's league, which is like our state provincial kind of thing, I guess, if that's what you will call it. And so I started there when I was 15, and I stayed there until just before I had my daughter. So
wow.
About 15, 16 years I played in the state league.
I'm so proud of you. Like, you are managing being a mom, you're managing being a wife, you're managing being an entrepreneur in Australia, paying all the taxes, and then dealing with all your stuff, and then playing footy. So footy is basically football.
Yeah.
In Australia, we call it footy, or is it different?
AFL, Australian football. Yeah. So you kind of have to Google it, I guess, to see what it's actually about. But it's sort of like a cross between soccer and rugby and maybe Gaelic football, if you're familiar with that. So, yeah.
So what about your knees after playing football yourself? Do you feel any problem in your physically?
Touch wood.
Yeah.
Touch wood, I haven't had any major injuries. Obviously, a few ankle sprains. I did have a avulsion fracture 2 weeks before my year 12 ball, the formal.
Oh, God.
So my mum was very disappointed in that. But we still got to dress up and everything, so that was fine. I broke my finger in the second last year I played in the grand final. So it was a open dislocation. So
Oh my
I
God.
had to get it stitched after the
But it
game.
never stopped you.
No. I didn't think it was broken at the time. I just was like, oh yeah, she's all right, don't worry. And then it started bleeding, so we just taped it up so I could finish the match.
I can finish the match first,
Yeah.
and then I'll take care
And
of
then
my
I put
fingers.
stitches in at the end of the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
But see, your parents were supportive and everything around, and you were passionate about it, and now you're here.
Yeah. So my mum's side very big on AFL. My dad's side not so athletic and into sports as much. So I think I got it from them.
So I think your mum has always been your supporter. Even now with your daughter,
Yeah,
she helps you, and
She
when
helps
you
me a
were
lot.
young, when then she helped you as well. I think parents are somebody who are always by the side. Really. Okay, so being a physio yourself, how difficult was it to manage your work, your business with a daughter, with a full-time working mom? How are you coping with all of this?
Well, it is hard, I think when we had the business, I mean, there's no right time to have a family when you've got a business. So you kind of just have to go with the flow, I guess. And that's what we did. So it wasn't an ideal time. We didn't really have a lot of staff to cover me when I went on my maternity leave. So I had to come back to work quite early. So I did a few weeks full time. I think we were 6 or 7 weeks post C-section.
Oh God, we can't imagine.
So a couple of the guys went on holidays, and being the boss, someone's got to be here, right? So
and you have to be there.
Yeah. So I was fortunate that my mum took some leave, and she brought my daughter to the clinic so I could feed her in between patients, and then I just managed to make that work. And then I think I came back about maybe 3 or 4 months post.
Okay.
And I worked in the evenings, and I would bring her to work, feed her, put her to sleep, put her behind reception.
And then dealing with the patients and all the mental stuff, mental load that you go through while running a business.
Yep, you're here, you're treating, squish everyone in a short time frame because that's when you're here. And then as soon as you leave, get home and feed her to bed, until she stopped breastfeeding.
You're always a mom, like 24/7.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. And I think, like, I'm lucky. My husband's very good.
Yeah.
Some dads, they're fun dad, and they don't really do a lot of the dirty work.
Yeah.
He'll change her nappies, he feeds her, he puts her to sleep, and everything.
So you're lucky in that part as well.
Yeah. I'm very, very lucky that he's supportive like that.
This is really important to have a supporting family, like your husband, your mother, whoever you can, who supports you in your career.
Yeah, exactly. But it still means that, as the mum, you're the number one.
Yeah, you have to be
primary carer. Yeah.
And I think kids always want mom.
Yeah. Most of the time. Well, she loves her dad, so I'm lucky I can, like I said, he does a lot, so we're quite lucky.
That's good. So Lauren, you are doing this business from quite a long time now, right?
Yeah. So I kind of had this dream that when I graduated uni, and I said to my old boss, I said, maybe about 5 years out of physio, I'll have my own business. And then I kind of learned the ins and outs of how that worked, and I was like, yeah, that's a bit ridiculous. Like, maybe not. But this business kind of fell in our lap at that time. So I did have a business at 5 years out, but I had a few business partners to help me to start with, and then slowly I kind of taken over by myself.
So did you ever think of just quitting it? Like, was there any time when you were so depressed and you were like, I can't do it anymore?
No, but COVID was really hard.
Yeah.
Like, we did nearly have to close over COVID, and it was lucky that the government gave us some financial assistance and things to help the business run, because we were starting out just then. Like, we bought the business, I think, middle of 2019.
Okay.
And then COVID really took off after that. So we were really struggling then. I mean, I like the flexibility of it. I'm my own boss. I can choose when I want to have holidays, and if I've got an appointment with my daughter or something to do, I'm not here.
You
I don't
can
have to
manage,
answer to anyone really. But I still like to lead from the front and show my staff that I'm willing to do hard work as well.
Because I think as a boss, it's really important to be a leader as well.
Yeah,
you need to show that. Everything can be done, and I'm there.
Like, I'll put in the effort. I don't really want to sort of be seen as one to slack off and not do the same amount of work that everyone else is doing. Obviously, I'd like you guys to be busier because I pay you. So I'd rather you be busier than me. But I like to do the work. But sometimes you do sort of think like it would be easier if you just work for someone else,
and just get the money.
Less stress. But there's more pros, I think. Than not.
I also believe that doing own business and running on brand is always better, and in a longer run.
Once it's established,
Once it's
that's the hard bit.
established. I think what challenges do you think are the really like big challenges while hiring the employees? And I know that you have hired like international physios most of the time. So what qualities do you look in the international
I mean,
physios?
obviously, like from our point of view, being in Australia, like English is the number one thing.
Yeah.
We really need people to be able to have a good understanding of English language. But in saying that, like yourself and Amna, you know, you're lucky that you speak a few different languages.
Yeah.
And Australia is quite multicultural.
So
it actually does help. Like in this particular area as well, there's a lot of people that speak those languages.
Yeah, South Asian community.
Parents coming over and coming for physio, and then you're waiting for someone else in the family to be the support person to translate for them, and then it's a three-way conversation. Whereas if you guys can just do that, like that does help. But yeah, I think English is probably the most important thing, and then you next look at the qualifications and like what you studied and how the quality of your learning as well. Because I think some countries physios are more driven by the doctors and don't have to sort of think, and there's not as much clinical reasoning, whereas here there is. So they're the kind of things that we kind of look for. But I'm not opposed to international physios if they're a good fit. Yeah.
So as an international physio, like most of our audience is from abroad, like not from Australia, and they always look forward to somebody who can just tell them that what should they do and how should they make their resume, or how should they speak to a person, to an employer, and how to impress you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the hardest thing is as well, like I guess getting the visa. Because from an employee point of view, like it's quite expensive to do a sponsorship, and it's actually hard to get. Like you have to sort of meet lots of criteria within the Australian government for them to even justify why you're looking abroad and not taking someone local. So we had that issue at when I got my first 2 overseas physios from South Africa, which were amazing. But trying to please the government and so to say, well, we're not getting enough physios in Australia now, so we have to look elsewhere.
So you have to justify that as well.
Yeah. But now it's not so difficult because there's people more coming in on their visas or more graduates and things like that. So then it becomes harder. And so for people like yourself and in Pakistan, they're asking for sponsorship. It's very difficult. If you're here already and you've already got your visa, it's much easier.
And I think, does it matter to have a limited registration or a full registration? Does it impact your business or your work?
Personally, myself, I would definitely look for someone who's already got full registration because there's a little bit more groundwork involved with the limited registration. So a little bit more education and training, which takes more time for myself when I'm also busy treating and being a mum and everything else. So, like there probably are clinics that would be willing to do that for sure. But myself, I would be full registration is much easier.
But generally as an employer, like these are the challenges that international physios sometimes think that, okay, we are applying, we're doing everything, we are good, why they are not hiring us? So this is the reason they are also not always in a very upper point. They also need to justify, they also need to do documentation and stuff. So it is expensive, it is documentation stuff. So there are a lot of things going on when you're hiring a single person. And then so much stuff comes with one person. Like
there's a lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility.
Yeah, and sometimes like some clinics, like you said, like if they're a bit more established in a bigger base, they might have someone under them who can then do the training and education. But in a small business like this, it would be very difficult.
You're your own boss, doing everything by your own.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, in short. So we have talked about what qualities you look into the international physio. So is there any recommendation that you will tell them as a general thing that they should do these courses or they should come from this route? What would help them to get hired or be a good candidate?
Definitely courses that are more recognized in Australia would be good.
For example?
I can't remember off the top of my head the exact name, but I think it's James Schomburg. He does some clinic.
Yeah, he is. He's really popular in Pakistan as well.
Yeah, so courses like that help you understand how private practice works because it might be different back home, as you probably found, like all the paperwork and things like that. So, and the clinical reasoning, the manual therapy side of things, like people like manual therapy, just not exercise prescription is not enough. But if you do, courses that are recognised in Australia, that will probably help, I think.
And what is the industry that is growing right now? Like women health, sports, which industry is growing, flourishing right now?
Everything really. Like, I mean, women's health, yes, we're an aging population as well, so there's obviously that. Sports is always a big thing in our culture in general. So I don't think that's ever going to be not busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think in Australia it's really popular because everybody, like every patient or every person you meet here is playing something, is playing sport, is into sports,
Or has done in the past.
or has done. Yeah, it is really important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think that in Australia, being in Australia, do you ever think of giving workshops or lectures to international physios, or you will not bother doing that?
I probably don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not really established, I think, myself as in my professional career to be doing that. Like I've been a physio for 10 years, so there's obviously, experience there, but I feel like to be teaching other people, there needs to be a little bit more substance to that, I think. Yeah.
But will you ever go to out of country to do or learn any course or
potentially, if the course,
you're open to
if
that?
the course arrives, and it suited my practice and it's going to help me, yes. But I do a lot of my stuff online, obviously, because it's easier.
So online is easier than you're sitting
but
at home.
I do like the weekend practicals every now and then because like I think sometimes online you can't practice, you can't see on real patients, So the women's health stuff, I would prefer to do that more in person. But again, finding the time and also taking in all of that in a weekend is hard. It just kind of has to be a bit of both.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think about different, categories of doing physiotherapy? For example, some employers prefer private practice, some prefers aged care, some prefer sports. So, why people usually prefer private practice? I don't understand this.
Well, I think it's a personal preference, really. Like that's the thing. Like when I went to uni, I didn't realize there was a lot more to physio. Like I didn't really know about the cardiovascular side of things, for example. And neuro, I kind of had a little bit of an idea, but again, not as in depth as what it was, right? So I think when you go to uni and you experience these things, you kind of see what you actually like and what not. I mean, I was kind of destined for private practice. One, when I graduated, there was actually a government job freeze on hospital jobs. So it was very hard to get a hospital job when I graduated. So that kind of
so many candidates
narrowed my choice anyway. And then I kind of sit in here and that's what I prefer. But I think it is a personal preference, and I guess different type of work, like hospitals can be sometimes, and I'm speaking from no experience because I haven't really done it aside from my place.
You've always been in private practice?
But I think it can be sometimes a bit mundane, like, you're doing similar things all day, every day, especially depending on your ward, if you're on an orthopedic ward.
It's really tiring. Like I have worked
total hips, like back to back, and it's the same sort of thing.
Same sort of thing, and it's really like physical exertion as well. I have worked in that kind of setup in Lahore, and it was an orthopedic hospital. Oh God, you see very dangerously operated patients daily, and then it's really difficult to mobilize them at the cost of your own back pain.
Yeah,
so
well,
it's
it
really
shouldn't
difficult.
be.
Yeah,
Like,
but it is difficult.
But and then they're the same patients you see every day.
Every day, yeah.
Where in this clinic, like, you don't know what you're going to get. Someone books an initial consult, they're straight off the street. Sometimes you get a GP referral.
Yeah,
it helps.
But I think it's interesting. Like when you're working as a physio, you get to see so many patients, different cases, interesting ones.
Yeah.
So
and you might see like 2 or 3 shoulder patients or neck patients or whatever, the same area in a day, but all those patients are going to be slightly different.
Different complaints, different
different
goals,
treatments,
different goals. Yeah.
Yep.
So you have done a course on women health as well. So how do you see women health with physiotherapy? Like how physio helps to women? Like if the woman has to be pregnant, or the woman has to be post-delivery, woman has to have any problem, or what? How women health is,
No, I mean, I don't think it's specifically said to pregnancy.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely an element of that. But there's other women, maybe they're having issues with sexual pain and intercourse, pre postnatal, maybe later in life they've got some hormone changes. Maybe that's affecting their continence, things like that, depending on their birth histories as well. So it's kind of like a lifespan. I think even sometimes in women's health they actually deal with kids as well, like bedwetting and incontinence and things with kids, constipation, stuff like that. So it can be from kids all the way through to older.
Okay.
Yeah. And
because there is a concept that you have to have a woman problem to have a women health physiotherapy consultation or treatment, right?
No, but I mean, sometimes it's a pelvic issue, like sacroiliac.
And I think we don't realize that we have that issue. There's so many women out there who go
Yeah,
through post C-section and stuff, and they have different problems, and they don't know that it can be treated.
And a lot of women think that's normal. Like, oh, I've just had 2 kids, so leaking when I cough and sneeze
Yeah,
is
yeah.
probably fine. Like, you know, that's just part of it. Like, it's not normal.
Yeah,
It's common,
but we
it's not
consider it normal. Like, okay,
Yeah, it's common. It's not normal.
yeah.
You know,
So we
and
have to
Most of
understand.
the time, you can do something about it. Yeah, it's quality of life.
Yeah, true. It's
Yeah.
about quality of life.
Yeah.
And I think even here as well, there are not so many women who are aware of these things, and we really need to spread awareness about such things.
It's definitely getting more, like
Yeah.
especially like the menopausal side of things. There's a lot more education on that. You know, I think there was a study and all that done saying like how much it affects marriages, you know, in menopausal women, because the men just don't understand why there's a big change in the personality of their wife. You know. But it just happens. It's a hormone thing.
Hormone thing,
It's
and
not that they can control it.
And usually people make fun of hormones, like it's not funny. It's a real problem.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So, on my podcast today, what would you suggest to physios out there, to international physios, to your own physios, that how they can increase their practice and how they can improve their practice or their hands-on? One thing that you want to suggest?
I think it's just keep learning. Like, you know, do more courses, PD. Just keep learning. Like, everything's changing. Research is changing. It always changes. So you just have to keep up with that, and also just like in terms of being a good physio, listen to your patients. You know,
what their goal is.
What their goal is, what they expect from the consultation as well. Because yes, they might be, you know, clinically they might need X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But then you know, they asking for something else. You need to provide that first to meet their satisfaction, and then also give them what they need to get better. Yeah. But it comes to communication. And
goal specific treatment plan and hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on very much so.
Which people don't want to do.
But they don't want to do the exercises, so you need to do those. You know.
But you know, here people are really fond of doing exercises, and they follow what you say
most of the time.
Yeah, most of the times. Can you please enlighten what is the difference between chiro and physio? I personally don't understand the difference.
That's a tough question. I'm sure there's lots of like things out there, but I think, you know, chiros are a little bit more looking at spinal alignment, you know, alignment of all your joints and things like that. But I think there's definitely a place where we can work together. You know? And there's chiros down the road that we treat patients together, you know, so they can help with the mobility and the manipulations. But then sometimes they're good at exercise prescription. It depends on their background, right? And then sometimes they need more physio for the manual therapy. You know, they go hand in hand.
And do you think it's patient's preference as well?
Probably. Yeah. But like, there's definitely a place. I think sometimes there's a bit of a, oh no, I'm a physio and you're a chiro, and there's a bit of competition there. But I don't really see that in chiros.
Oh God, you haven't seen competition in Pakistan. Like, they don't refer patient at all.
Yeah, no, I think there's a definite you know, place for both. You know, you can help each other, help the patient. The main thing is the patient gets better. And
I think the culture that I love here is, like, obviously you're my first employer, and it's my first job that I did here, and I really felt the difference in. As an employer, I haven't seen any employer like you. I haven't seen colleagues like this before. I haven't seen practice like this before. But yes, we as a Pakistani physios, we know how to treat a patient, but we haven't been into that atmosphere, which is professional and which is compassionate. Because we have always seen leg pulling, we have always seen the people cutting it to each other. You know, even professionals, they don't refer patients to each other. Employers are always like strict, like I don't know. But this is a good thing in Australia that I really admire and I love, and I want to tell. So far. And and this is really what we need to focus as a physios in Pakistan, even for Pakistanis as well, that we need to be compassionate and we need to be really supportive to each other, because it's not going to cost you.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, if the patient gets better, like, that's the most important thing, right? And
it should be in their best interest.
If you help them and you team up with someone else who also helps them, they're going to be happy regardless, you know.
And even in a business point of view as well, you help them, they help you. Yeah, referrals are really good. Thank you so much, Lauren. It was really, really nice talking to you today, and I hope and I wish that this session has been really helpful to my audience as well, to me as well, and I really appreciate you coming on to my podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Thank you. Bye.